Water Funner here. Today I'm down by my wood stove, and this is my pipe coming in from the chimney. I've got it plugged off. I just used a paper plate. I'm not going to go into any detail about regulations and codes and that for wood stoves, but this is how I'm doing it. And open up my chimney pipe. It's drying right now. This is a 45 degree and it swivels like that, and I want it to slope down slightly, so I'm going to have this slightly angled downward. And what I need to do is measure from the floor to the edge of the wood stove here, which is 28 inches on this one, up to just up to the top of the stove. So in order to figure out how long I want the pipe coming out of the stove, I'm going to measure from the floor to the top of this pipe here, and it is about 56¼ inches. So I'm not going to put this together yet because I have to cut it. But the rib side is going to be in the stove, and this rib side of the 90 is going to be in here. So in order to get my measurement for the height of this pipe here, it is the 56¼ from the top of this pipe minus the 28 inches, the height of the stove, which comes out to 28¼ inches. Okay, so I have this pipe inside of this. This will give me a rough measurement of how much space this is taking up, the 90 degree, and it is at about 8½ inches. So, back to the math. So now it's the 28¼ minus 8½ for this height. I'm just going to go with 8¼ to make it simple. So now, with the 8¼ off of the 28¼ this piece measures out to be 20 inches long. And I want it about 1½ inches shorter than what this is here. So I'm going to cut it down to 18½. I'm going to mark it in a number of different spots around the outside of it. Make sure I get it nice and straight. And you especially want to mark at the ends. So I did about 6 marks around there. Just that way I can keep an eye on where I'm cutting. And for this I'm going to be using green snips. Gonna have to fight with this. I should be wearing gloves, but I'm not. Just going to cut the excess off, get it out of my way. off here on this end. Okay, careful, that edge is probably going to be sharp. So before you go and clip this all together, just do a test fit like this. And you should be on a slope, downward slope, which I am, which is awesome. Okay, so this just goes to show you that we're all human, me included. I've been doing this backwards, but it's going to work anyway. What I've ended up with is two female ends, one here and one here, and one of them has to have that rib in it to go inside. So I'm going to revamp what I was doing, and the cutoff end is going to go in the stove. Hoping it's going to fit by the time I get all of this put together. Alright, so I'm going to put this in. I've got my length cut to the proper length anyway. And if you're worried about scratching it, you might want to lay something down underneath there. I'm not terribly worried about it here. This is down in my basement anyway. And you just got to push evenly in the center of that until you can get it hooked in. Now, I'm going to make sure the end's lined up. Ouch. Careful, the ends are sharp. I'm going to make sure that it's all snapped in completely. Get it back around again. So this is going to be a tight fit, but it's going to go. I know it will. The old pipe that I took out of the stove, it had the damper 12 inches from the stove. Give it a twist, and then it slides up. Okay, I've got these things all turned into place. So when I put this on here, they pretty much line up with each other. And rather than measuring it, I'm just going to put this up against this elbow right here, so that it's overlapping up to where the crimp stops. And then this one I'm just going to go a little ways past the crimp part. And this way I don't have to measure it. I got my line there, and I'm just going to make a line like that all the way around. And this one measures out 8 3/4 inches. So, there we go. So I'll cut that one off like I did the other one. Okay, so I put the elbow on this short piece that I just cut, just so that it can go in a little easier. So this end is going in here. And this elbow is going in here. If you did everything right, you should have a pretty good slope on here, and everything should be fitting nice and tight everywhere. And this should be straight. And the damper should be working. Cool. Now I don't know about where you're at, but to pass the, they call it a wet inspection in Canada, you have to have 3 bolts minimum at every place where it connects. Just going to be drilling 3 holes in each one of these and putting some self-tapping screws in there. I'm going to pre-drill all the holes, just make it a lot easier. Okay, so once your screws are all in place, then there's one thing left to do, and that's start a fire. Here's a neat little idea. Get a Kleenex box, fill it up with newspaper, put it in the bottom, and throw some kindling wood on top of it, and it lights up really nice. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit like if you like. Okay. Hope you're not scared of a little fire.